Get lost. I didn't set limits for you. What falls is mine. 5 months into the zombie apocalypse, my most trusted teammate pushed me off the 7th floor straight into a horde of zombies. The plunge was heavy and violent, but the excruciating pain I expected from broken bones never came. Instead, I opened my eyes immediately and was met with a pale, bloodless face staring at me. My heart nearly stopped. Despite weighing over 100 pounds, I hadn't managed to even dent this zombie. What kind of durability was this? The creature furrowed its brow as if irritated, momentarily glancing upward with a confused expression. I barely had 10 seconds to take in the strange interaction before the surrounding zombies began closing in rapidly. Their jagged black claws were outstretched, ready to claw me apart. "Back off, stinky fatties," I muttered desperately, squeezing myself closer to the one cleaner zombie beneath me. Oddly enough, it seemed to understand my predicament. The zombie raised its head, scanning the crowd briefly, and suddenly the others retreated several steps as if cowed by its presence. I gasped for air and took a few deep breaths. It was far fresher now that I wasn't suffocating in an ocean of decay. Compared to the others, this particular zombie didn't smell nearly as rancid. To my surprise, it picked me up and carried me all the way to a villa in a luxurious neighborhood. Inside, it gently placed me on a bed before dragging over a chair and sitting down to watch me silently. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just any zombie. This one seemed to be their leader. "Why are you staring at me?" "Gross," I blurted out, awkwardly adjusting myself. Rising from the bed, I began inspecting the room's layout, but froze when the zombie king extended a finger toward me. It moved slowly and deliberately, stopping just short of my face. To my horror, it poked me gently on the cheek, staring at me with an unsettling mix of curiosity in its dim, grayish eyes. "Don't envy me. It won't help you," I muttered under my breath, trembling slightly. "You're already dead. It's impossible to stay this young forever. But you've got me so tense my scalp is practically tingling." "Wait. Did that zombie just talk?" I gasped, my eyes widening as my face turned pale. "Are you alive or dead? This must be a dream. It has to be." To convince myself, I swung my hand and smacked myself hard across the face. That should do it. But before I could process anything further, the zombie let out an ear-splitting roar that made my whole body tremble and almost knocked me out cold. Still reeling, I couldn't help but shout back, "What's your problem, zombie? That's my face. What does it have to do with you? And for the record, what's mine is mine, even if I picked it up from God knows where." Unfazed by my protests, the zombie, clearly no ordinary kind, grabbed me by the arm and tossed me onto the bed as if I weighed nothing. Then, as casually as anything, he plopped back down in his chair, staring at me like I was some sort of exhibit on display. I rolled my eyes internally. "What are you looking at? You think I'm mesmerizing or something?" Despite the absurdity of it all, I caught myself muttering inwardly, sarcasm dripping from every thought. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, the zombie suddenly stood up, climbed onto the bed, and yanked me toward him by my collar. "Ha ha ha. Good looking," he muttered, and before I could react, wrapped his arms tightly around me like a vice. I kicked, squirmed, and struggled to escape, but his strength was overwhelming. Hey, you stop that right now! Just end this misery already and bite me if that's what you want! For crying out loud, do your worst!" Despite my outburst and frantic struggling, exhaustion soon overtook me, and I gave up completely. Eventually, without meaning to, I managed to drift off into sleep, in the embrace of a zombie no less. Days passed. Somehow, I found myself living side by side with this so-called zombie king. His name was Peter, apparently the owner of the villa, a young master from an incredibly wealthy family who had seen and done everything life had to offer. Yet here he was, acting like a clingy puppy and refusing to let me out of his grasp for even a moment. Finally, today brought a glimmer of hope. Peter left the villa for an errand. My chance. I began hurriedly plotting my escape. No matter what it took, I had to find that idiot responsible for all this trouble, the one who dared create such chaos. I had barely stepped out of the villa when a horde of zombies surged from every corner surrounding me. It hit me like a bolt. I realized these zombies were under Peter's control. Moments later, Peter arrived, his presence clearing the undead like waves receding from the shore. He stood before me, his gray eyes faintly tinged with red, carrying an intensity that felt impossible to ignore. "Why are you running?" he asked in a raspy tone. "Stay with me." "I wasn't trying to leave you," I replied quickly. "That day I was pushed. Someone shoved me down. I'm going back to settle the score." At my explanation, the corners of Peter's brow moved ever so slightly, his expression deepening as he recalled the event. His answer came like gravel scraping metal, bitter and unyielding. "Go. Finish it. That bastard deserves worse. But don't bite anyone out there," he added after a beat, his tone harsh yet protective. "Even if you're desperate for payback." When we reached the base, I debated my next moves, worried about losing control or causing trouble with survivors around him. Peter, however, was reluctant to let me go, his grip firm on my hand. I cupped his face softly, attempting to reassure him. "It's okay," I said. "Wait here downstairs. I'll come back for you." Brushing off his hesitation, I added a playful tone. "I'll even bring you an idiot as a souvenir." He didn't say much but nodded, his gaze steady and unwavering as I turned away from him to climb upstairs. Bolstered by Peter's silent resolve, I ignored the zombies entirely. They parted before me without resistance as if his power shielded my path. I found the traitorous man immediately. Without hesitation or conversation, I dealt with him swiftly, a clean and final end to his treachery. From the rooftop, I watched his body plummet into darkness below, letting out a cold laugh as I saw it disappear. "This time," I muttered, "there's no zombie king waiting to catch you." My mission complete, I prepared to leave. But the commotion drew other team members who blocked my way. They urged me not to go, their pleas full of confusion and desperation. Their persistence gave me pause. Should I push through? Should I return downstairs where Peter waited for me? Torn between guilt and obligation, I appeased my teammates temporarily before finally slipping outside. Down at the entrance, Peter spotted me instantly. His urgency was palpable. He rushed toward me with unrestrained concern that almost felt human. On the way, I quickly grabbed some clean clothes from a crowd of zombies, wiped my face carefully, and removed the grime. Once I was presentable, I leaned against the fence gate and pleaded in a pitiful tone, "Don't go. Please stay. I won't leave you. I just couldn't think of a solution earlier." Fighting the urgency, I walked up to Peter, who was flailing his arms wildly, and gently took hold of them. I worked to calm his emotions. After taking a deep breath, I decided I couldn't walk away from Peter. The only viable solution was to disguise him as one of us, a human. By sheer luck, I stumbled upon a parked truck that was still operational. Its cargo hold contained half a load of supermarket goods and ready-to-eat snacks. Excited by this unexpected find, I started rummaging for supplies, trying to maximize the truck's capacity. But with just 2 people involved, there was no way we could move all of it ourselves. Suddenly, Peter tossed a crate onto the ground with an unceremonious thud and declared, "Can't carry it? Then don't bother. Let them handle it." Caught off guard, I lifted my head to see what he meant. The zombies that had previously been keeping their distance slowly shuffled closer. They began forming an orderly line and picking up boxes from the corners of the cargo hold. Their movements were sluggish, yet oddly deliberate, like tireless workers on a grim shift with neither breaks nor holidays. In disbelief, I couldn't help but marvel at the bizarre sight. Zombies hauling crates out while ambling toward the exit, as if trapped in the eternal grind of an undead work week. On the return trip, I worked on perfecting Peter's disguise. I placed one of the scavenged masks over his face and added a pair of dark contact lenses to obscure his zombie-like features completely. By the time we arrived at the base, his identity remained unexposed. Instead, Peter gained a peculiar reputation among the team members, thanks to his bold move of supposedly tossing zombies away with bare hands on arrival. They mistook his actions for heroism and began calling him Big Brother, with awed admiration. Relieved that we'd pulled off our plan without incident, I made sure everything was arranged before escorting Peter back to our room. As we settled in, his pitch-black eyes, partly concealed by the contact lenses, fixed themselves on me. Seeing him like that made me hesitate as he reached out for a hug. "Why won't you let me hug you?" he asked softly, his deep gaze unwavering, issuing a silent plea I found difficult to ignore. I faltered for a moment, but there was no denying it. Those contact lenses made him look uncannily human. So much so that it left me unsettled in ways I couldn't fully explain.